Hello to everybody, my name is Stefano, and welcome to this episode of the Think and Analyze podcast. So, today we are dealing with a question that, once answered, can immediately help us understand our relationships with others. That question is, how do people judge our actions? Now, you may ask, why would I want to know that? Well, basically, because knowing how people consider what you do can help you to establish healthy relationships, to understand what might be wrong in others, and to change those you find not so positive. Okay, so to answer, we immediately have to define, I believe, two types of people we interact with. Those two types are the people who don't know us at all and we are meeting for the first time, and the people who already know us. Now, let's start with the first type, which is, of course, simpler. The less you know a person, the more they judge your actual actions, and the more they create a sort of image of you with those specific actions. For this reason, you might even do one thing, uh, and they will start to create an image with that one single thing. It's not that way they will think, well, maybe he is not, he acted in a different way as usual. They will start to think that you are the reflection of what you did in that specific moment. So, for example, if you meet a new colleague and the first thing you do is look at them in the eyes, shake their hand firmly, and say something like, "Nice to meet you," it's likely that they will start to create a positive image of you, or at least an image of you that is outgoing, even though actually you are quite shy. And that's when the other person starts to consider your actions through the filter they created themselves in the first moment. Now, of course, if you out of 10 times, the first one you were very outgoing and the following 9 you don't say a word, after all that time, they will understand how you actually behave. However, it is undeniable that the second time that will meet you, they will still have that filter and they will consider you still very outgoing. That opinion of you will change with time if it is incoherent with what you actually do in the other times. However, in the beginning, they will still think you are outgoing. And I believe that is crucial to understand if in your life, to understand that, sorry, if in your life you often meet new people for a short amount of time and you want to make a good impression. Now, of course, that may sound obvious, but in my experience, many things look obvious when you look at them from the outside. And then, when you are actually involved in that situation, you forget about those kind of things that you realized, and you behave almost unconsciously. As a matter of fact, knowing something doesn't mean that you apply it as soon as you have the chance. You may simply forget about it. Now, back to the situation. Why would you want to do that? People might say that you are faking, that you are not genuine and transparent. And that those kind of observations will be, we will say, done if you are quite shy and you make a sort of good impression, you make a first impression that is not actually coherent with who you are. And that might happen with some people. Some people would be actually lying to others just to make good impressions. But think about this. If you, by your nature, tend not to open to strangers, but once you actually know them, you are much more outgoing, you have all the chances to sabotage yourself right in the beginning. As a matter of fact, let's go back to what I first said. Those who don't know you judge you by your actions. And I would also add the following, which I might discuss in another podcast. People tend not to invest in relationships right in the beginning. So, what would happen? While you are simply a little bit shy, the other person might think two things: either that you just don't want to talk, or that you're shy. But since they will invest the least possible, oftentimes they will think that you just don't want to talk. And so you will not even have the chance to show who you really are because they will not talk to you again. That's when you want to kind of push it a little bit outside your comfort zone and make the impression that you are more outgoing. What will happen then? The other person will be more willingly to talk to you, so they will invest a little bit more, and so you will have more chances, since you will know them better, to show who you really are. That's complicated, isn't it? Well, maybe in the beginning, and maybe these thoughts might hit you and make you think, is this really it? Is it only about these mechanisms? Well, maybe in a future podcast we will discuss this, but my short answer would be no. That's not so cold and intricate actually. But these thoughts help you to understand things better, in my opinion. On the other end, there's the second category, people who already know you. With this type, things change a little bit, and it's as if we started from where we stopped with the first type. As a matter of fact, those who already know you have already have an image, a projection of you in their head. To be more specific, I believe they have in their head an image of your personality, of your values, of your fears, of the things you like to do, and above all, of your mindset. And by the way, these projections might not even be true, or they may be distorted. However, until you do something that makes them realize you're actually different from what they thought, they will keep believing those kind of projections. So let's suppose I have this one friend, John, a close one, who is very cautious and responsible. One day I found out that he has been involved in a car accident. The first thing I'm likely to think is something along the lines of, I hope he's okay, there must have been someone who drove recklessly. Or, I hope he's okay, there must have been something which distracted him. On the other end, I might know another person, whose name is, let's say, Jane, who likes to drink a little too much and too often. If I find out that she's also been involved in a car accident, it's highly likely that I think that she drank too much and drove irresponsibly. This makes you realize how we filter other people's actions through what we think they did or thought right in the moment before making that action. Basically, we judge according to their previous actions, and most of the times this mechanism works. However, if you want to change the relation between you and someone else, your previous actions may go against you in the process, so that the new you will be seen as weird where compared to the past. Basically, your new actions will not match in the head of the other person your previous actions. There will be some kind of incongruity between the old and the new you. And in my opinion, this makes you realize two things. Firstly, and this is what I once thought, others' opinion about you will not change in a matter of days thanks to you doing this one magic thing that you never did. For instance, if you always let other people talk over you while you are saying something, it's not by continuing to talk no matter what just once that things will change. As a matter of fact, I have often thought in the past that it was sufficient to do one thing to change who you are to others. I thought that because in my head, I knew that I was actually changed, but I didn't realize that others didn't know. Secondly, acting in a totally different way than you did in the past will not work either, because it will be incongruent and it'll be considered weird. Plus, there's a chance that what you do won't even come natural to you because you changed so many things, and so that will add up and it will be a total mess basically. So, what's the quick solution to all this? Well, actually, there is none. Think about it. You didn't become what you are in a matter of days, and so how do you think you will change in the same amount of time? The reality is that changing takes time for other people to get used to the new you and for you as well. Specifically, I believe you want to sort of pick one, two, maybe even three aspects of yourself that you want to improve on and work on them. With time, you will actually become who you want, and after that, if you still want to improve, you will do the same exact thing. Pick other two, maybe one, even aspect and improve on them. Also, and I want to stress about this, don't fall into that trap of thinking that you can manage to change who you are totally right as you want it. It is likely that you will feel a little weird, maybe alienated, because you will not know who you are anymore. Change yourself slowly but steadily. In addition, during the process, you might even realize that you want to maintain certain aspects which, in the beginning, you wanted to change. It's all a process of try and error, I guess. What I mean by that is that once you change something, um, it works and you are fine with it. Then you think, okay, I might have to change another aspect. Once you try to change it, you might realize that actually you don't want to change it anymore. You may realize that actually the other possibilities, the other sort of ways in which you could change, you don't like. And so you might stick to who you were in the beginning. And that's what I mean with try and error. Um, you have to each and every time realize if something is actually to be changed or not. Because in the beginning, you were one person and you wanted to change so many things. And so in the beginning, things around you happened in a specific way. But after you change one or two aspects, things are around you happen in a totally different way. There are different dynamics, and for this reason, what in the beginning seemed like a negative aspect, then it may be even a positive aspect. Okay, so that was the end of this second episode. If you think I missed something, let me know in the comments below. With that said, see you guys.